Welcome back. My name is Nick and I have Taylor here with me, and today we're breaking down Succession Season 4, Episode 8, only 2 left, and I just gotta say, Taylor, Greg is inching his way to the top.
Nick, your prediction is becoming just more real every week.
Yeah, maybe
it's actually it's a surprising thing because I didn't expect him to get cozy with Mattson, but here we are.
He finds a way. He finds a way into every hole. He's the best rat. No, I was kidding. No.
Yeah, even though he's so tall, he finds his way in. A camel through the eye of a needle.
Just so you know, we have a shirt, Cousin Greg shirt, on our bestnerdyshirts.com, and every comment in this video is entered to win one of the shirt of their choosing from the bestnerdyshirts.com at the end of the month. We randomly pick someone. Thank you so much for all your comments, and yeah, we'll jump in straight into the episode. Election night, and it's scary how real it feels.
You're just thrown right back in.
But even like how like media has so much power for stuff like this to just announce something one way, even though they could be wrong, but they're like, let's just full on announce. And it's sad to say, but big companies like this have connections to politicians too. That's just like the world we're living in. And it's
100%.
It's like sticky feeling almost too, because you're like, oh, this is probably really happening with all the elections.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like how the first call, like you see, I feel like there's not even a millisecond when Jared ends his speech and he's immediately calling Roman to thank him.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
happening big time.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's and then Roman. Okay, so we'll jump into the episode. I guess we just got to talk about characters at this point. If you already watched the episode, you know the plot. So Roman, we'll talk about Roman first. Gosh, he's just full on character. Almost he's like a cartoon character on how evil he is. Almost like he's just like, let's do it, let's close this deal, or let's do this is the right thing to do, which completely 180 from what we saw in the last 2 episodes with him, where he was so unsure about his own choices and decisions. Like every time he made a choice, he would look at Kendall, and Kendall would be like, yeah bro, let's do it, let's just fire everyone, where now it's just like, no, we're doing this. So it was kind of flip-flop on Kendall and Roman this episode.
Yeah, I feel like Roman is more empathetic when it's like a person he's dealing with, but when it's like maybe the whole country, or I don't know, just like if it's more of a concept, like people being fired, or the people's votes being counted. Yeah, it's just kind of like F whatever, F it,
which is very
interesting. Because at some points he seems, and I think this is like, it's not even really contradicting itself. I think, people do have these like conflicting parts about them. Yes. But yeah, he can be really thoughtful and like meek and kind, or not kind, but like, I don't know, thoughtful, I guess. Yeah. And then, yeah, he's just kind of a monster in this episode, or not even a monster. He just like he has one, it's like black and white. He has a way he's going to be. And that's that.
He has like an on switch and an off switch.
And the actor said, Kiernan said that it was a really fun episode because he says like those episodes where Roman is just totally eyes on the prize, just like is singular in his thinking. It's a lot more fun because you can just like go all out.
Yeah, he already has a goal. It's not like he's trying to be in his own head trying to decide. It's more like, I'm gonna just go full force this way. So we had that in this episode, and he was also trying to deal with his brother Connor and trying to get him a better position, because Connor's like, yo, does that offer still stand, kind of thing. It's just like, oh my gosh. And then the speech Connor gives on the TV, it was just like,
oh my gosh, Willa, she's struggling. She's like, what have I signed up for?
We were saying their relationship was the best. We don't know now.
We'll see.
All good things come to an end with this family.
Yeah, truly. And I think, we say it like every week that the siblings kind of all have they all kind of complete each other in a way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in this episode, it's very, one person is on this side, one sibling's on this side, and then there's the sibling that's in the middle. And it's interesting that Kendall is so I mean, it's not interesting. I guess like he has a right to be upset that that Shiv kind of lied to him, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I think he does because he was trusting her. And
I just thought it was a little hypocritical because I'm like, well, Roman would tell you anything to like, he would do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Kendall's just going to let this like make up his mind. I don't know. Well, it was a little lame.
I think what happened too, it happened right after he told her about his like issue he was having with Roman.
Mm-hmm.
So like he trusted her. I think he was at this place of trust.
Okay.
And I think the trust was violated right away. He's just like, whoa, because now she has a card to play against Roman to divide up their power things that they have. And then Roman's in with the Prez. Kendall's not, and that was his concern. Remember how he called Kendall, or he called Roman, and that whole deal was going on with Roman and not Kendall. So he's kind of feeling like, and it's so funny, these egos. It's all ego at this point because everyone wants the whole prize. No one could just be happy with a piece of it. Everyone wants it all. Especially, we know Kendall wants it all. We don't know if Roman wants it all yet. He hasn't been vocal about wanting it all, but.
And do you know what's really I really caught me in this episode is like the kind of, what would, they've been saying the past couple episodes, like, well, Dad would have done this, Dad would have done that. And it's truly now just whatever they want to do is what Dad would have done, like Shiv being like, oh, he would have let all the votes be counted. And Roman rightfully is like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
He would have wanted what I'm doing.
It's
so
all
I think
from
that's
their
an
own
interesting thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. It's what their dad would do from their perspective to push their agenda.
Yeah. So everything is just so emotionally charged, and it's like, this can't end well.
And I don't think it is going to end well. I mean, it might end well for Greg. Let's talk about Wasabi Greg.
Water it. It's what? That's lemon. It's lemon, Greg.
Probably one of the funniest things that happened this season. Wasabi in the eye, and Greg pouring lemon LaCroix, and then tasting it, and like, oh, it's medical. Like they use it in hospital. I forgot what he said. He was saying, like,
it's natural. It's medical. Yeah, it's natural. So oh my god,
that was just so good how he grabbed it and he like his eye, and it was so funny, that whole thing. And then like then Tom before he leaves like scolds him like a child. No more wasabi in the eyes, Greg.
Oh gosh.
And then Greg just kind of herding people around. He was okay. You guys have to get off the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
But
oh my gosh,
he took a stand. He got in with Matsson, so maybe he's still working for Kendall, because remember how Kendall kind of sent him on that mission to kind of get whatever information he can. But Greg always plays both sides.
At this point.
Yeah, but he likes to play both sides, right? Greg. Yeah. As we've seen with Tom and other people. And like from the very first episode, when they gave him a task to do and they said to not do that task and do something else, he finds a way to please everyone where he's neutral and he doesn't get everyone's way.
Yeah, we've said he's a people pleaser till the end.
Except for the first time he's ever truly been threatened was by Shiv.
Wow, that I just realized. I just remember that scene.
Yeah.
I had never thought of it in such terms.
And it's interesting how Tom demoted him back to coffee runner, which was just like, it's like, Tom, what are you doing, man? After he
and Coke runner, can I even say that? Coca-Cola runner.
I mean, they definitely did a bump. They definitely did a bump. The both of them behind a whiteboard.
I just would wish that we could have we could have had a camera in the room when he did that with Matsson. Like, can you imagine, Greg? Oh gosh.
Yeah. So it was interesting. He must have been partying pretty late with him because of all the information he found out about Shiv and everything too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was just perfect because like Tom comes in. He's like, sushi on the table. He's like pissed off at the sushi, and then he has Greg run the coffee.
He's pissed off because it's bodega sushi.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's in there.
And then Greg's a runner, and he almost gets demoted. But I think Greg he's obviously playing both ends, and he's favoring Kendall at this point more than Tom even. I mean, he's doing whatever Tom says because he's technically still working for Tom, but he's definitely making his ranks up, and he just did something for Kendall where Kendall will probably respect him more now too, because that was a big bomb drop. Like, hey, your sister's been giving messages to him for X amount of days now. So it's like, what the heck? We had this agreement up on the mountain to this. You've been messing up everything, because every idea they had, Matsson had a counter, right? We're going to throw this thing. Matsson's at the party. We're going to do this. Matsson's going to send this tweet. You know, like when he does the thing, you know, he already had like ammo ready to go. So
yeah, and that is a huge betrayal that it had to be the siblings. That's what they all agreed on. So that, what I was saying earlier is like, I guess I'm just saying like, I was surprised or disappointed or whatever that Kendall made this decision about something separate from the siblings and like the family, something pretty consequential, based on just like him being mad at Shiv. I'm like, okay.
And then Shiv, we got to talk about Shiv. So
well, I wanted to add, it relates to Shiv and Greg. I wish, like, something that really stuck with me is the look that Greg gave to Shiv while he was just that whole scene of them, you know, eye contact, and you can just totally understand what's going on. Yeah. Totally just based on how they're looking at each other. It's crazy.
Yeah. It was great acting, great acting in that scene. Great way the great editing and camera framing. It was so perfect. Like, she knew the betrayal happened. She didn't even have to hear it.
And she looked like she was about to throw up. Like,
I mean, she is pregnant. Oh, baby drop.
Huge.
Baby drop. Okay, but at the worst possible time, poor Tom is frazzled. Like, he is pulled to which end? I don't know. Poor guy. He's running around. Everyone's telling him what to do. He's even getting calls from Connor. There's camera guys here. I don't see my thing on TV anywhere. It's like dealing with all these brothers and like all the siblings. But then all of a sudden she has to pull him aside to tell him this news. It's just like, I can't even imagine being Tom in that circumstance. Like, you want to talk about this right now when I'm like, I can't even give thought to this. She's like, oh, you're not even listening? It's like, dude has 6 phones in his hands and they're all buzzing right now. And I was just like,
well, now that you put it in those terms, it's kind of reminiscent of him proposing to her when her dad has a stroke, or, you know, like in the hospital in the hallway, not like that was purposeful, but it's just kind of like, that's how they do it. And we thought it was going to be maybe, you know, in a moment where they've been in their shared apartment together or something. It's like, nope, of course it's going to be at the craziest moment.
I mean, you would even think it would have happened on the balcony before this scene.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So, and what did you think of Tom's reaction? Do you think it was appropriate? Is this a game? Do you have something to hold over my head kind of thing? Like, is this just another power move?
Yeah, I mean, that was harsh, but I mean, that's the tenor of their interactions these days. Yeah. So I guess it kind of just shows how bad things have gotten, I suppose. Yeah, but that is pretty messed up.
And he's betrayed her before. That was at the end of last season. He's betrayed her. He'll probably easily betray her again to keep his job, to out her and Matsson too.
But it seems like she finished him, right? When she goes in with the brothers and says that he should go out. He should be out. Remember? Oh,
Tom?
Yeah. So after he drops that line on her, I feel like she's telling them that she's doing bad tonight and he needs to go. So,
which we had an excellent comment that would actually sum this up perfectly. If Tom goes out, you ready? You want to read the first comment?
Oh yeah, so this is another prophetic comment. We have these come across sometimes, because reading this after knowing kind of Greg positioning himself higher, it's even more apt. So it's Greg is gonna fire Tom. ... They build up that Tom is going to be fired in the same episode that they highlighted Greg's ability to fire people and feel nothing.
So
I don't know.
Could he poetic feel would that be? How poetic would that be, though, for Greg to fire Tom, and then Greg to possibly get his job too? I don't know how Greg would do, because he doesn't understand media world at all. I don't know what he would do.
I don't know if Tom knows what he's doing either. I feel like in the beginning when
he knows a little bit more than Greg for sure.
Right. Yeah. But at the same time, Tom seems a little frazzled, but you know, probably anybody in that situation is. I think that there's the mention in the beginning of the episode that Sid isn't there to like lean on. You know, the person, the lady who was like the head. Mm-hmm. So that could be part of it too, that she wasn't there. But you know.
Woo! So good. We got the pregnant drop. We got not Freg. Oh my gosh. We got Greg and Shiv. We got Connor, Kendall. Yeah, there's practically everyone. We didn't get much on Lucas and on what he's doing. It was very, very slim what we got from him. We got a couple phone calls. We got Shiv storming out of the building. So we know she's going to have something to try to destroy the deal at this point. She's pissed. And she doesn't have to worry about playing sides because she was outed on one of the sides. So now she's going to align herself. Well, she's technically, at least this next episode, she's going to be aligning herself with Lucas. Lucas is okay, so we can talk about the trailer for the next episode. Lucas is at the funeral. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is there.
And the president, question mark? Is there?
The president that they announced won is there. Mm-hmm. And the pending president's there. And Roman's going to give a speech, which will just make him, like, he already has the president in his pocket, and it's going to put him up a little bit higher. Unless the speech totally collapses within itself, which he's known to do. Maybe he's going to upload a PowerPoint presentation. It's going to be a picture of his, you know what? And it's like, well, he's lost it again. Or maybe, which would be interesting, what if he actually deserves the job and then Jerry just comes in and swipes him out, like just takes him out.
Jerry!
Yeah, because he could technically be the right man for the job, and then he gets taken out by Jerry. Kendall can get taken out by himself in his own head, and then Shiv can take herself out too. Or maybe Tom takes her down with him. Maybe it's one of those, like, you know, Romeo and Juliet moments, like, you know, we're both gonna die, even though it's not, because Romeo and Juliet were in love, but it's like you're coming down with me.
Or maybe what she did is a bridge too far and she's out. I mean, we've seen it kind of like episode to episode, the siblings fighting. You know, they deal with it, they move on because they have to, but I don't know, maybe this was too far, and maybe it's too far for her that they did this, maybe it's too far for them that she lied, you know what I mean? So we'll see what shakes out there. And
then the deal is going to fall through because they have the president, and then they're going to be like, do we have anyone else that's blood that can take over the company? Hold on, there's a piece of paper. Kendall's name's crossed out, but Greg's name's on here too. Let's make him the head of the company.
That's... You know, Nick, you'd probably have to buy some lotto tickets if that happens, because you saw that from the beginning.
We'll see. We'll see if it works out that way.
We'll see what happens with Carrie and Marsha too. We have 2 episodes to kind of patch up that whole situation.
Maybe we'll have a cat fight at the funeral between them.
Hey, it's in the realm of possibilities, I think. Well, someone just suggested that instead of a Cousin Greg shirt, we have Cousin the Egg. Or sorry, Greg the Egg. So there's another option for you.
Greg the Egg. Okay, I know we got a little busy this week. We didn't do a comment video. We're going to see if we can this week. If not, it's okay. We like to read all your comments, and we're going to do our best to get on a better schedule. We've been just super busy with everything, but we will get to the comments eventually. And thank you guys so much. Every comment is still entered to win for the bestnerdshirts.com. We're going to be doing a live stream at the beginning of every month where we announce the winners. We do a random shuffle. It's so much fun. All we need is confetti and some streamers, and it would be perfect. But go to the bestnerdshirts.com. Go check out all of our merch, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.